Hi, I'm Tara Exner, and I'm interviewing my grandpa, Frank Siddall, who served as a Navy pilot in World War II. He was born on December 27, 1921, and is currently 85 years old. This interview took place on Monday, April 9, 2007, in Mission Viejo Hospital in Mission Viejo, California. Were you drafted, or did you enlist?
I enlisted on August the 6th of 1942
Where were you living at the time?
in Upper Darby, Pennsylvania.
Why did you join?
I got patriotic
Why did you pick the service branch you joined?
because I wanted to get a commission, and I had always loved the Navy because I had read books called The Battleship Boys.
Cool. Do you recall your first days in the service?
My first date?
First days.
Yes, I went to Muhlenberg College, and we were assigned uniforms, big, heavy, green woolen things. And it was not a Navy uniform, but it was something to dress us. And we went to Muhlenberg College, where they had an airfield, and they were teaching me how to fly a Piper Cub. A Piper Cub is a very light, small airplane. It has two people in it. The only problem I had with the flying, the kid who was before me always got sick.
Oh.
And he threw up over the instructor. And so I had to fly after him. I didn't like it, but anyhow.
What did your first days feel like?
Well, I think the first couple of days we practiced marching and books and stuff like that.
How did you feel?
Well, I can remember starting to fly. Of course, not the first thing you do, but you learn how to take off and land. And I had no big problem with that. The biggest problem I had was doing your first spin,
Ooh.
where you're actually putting the airplane out of control. Yes. And I tried and tried and tried to kick it into a spin, and I couldn't get myself to do it.
Oh.
So I had to take a couple of days, and I finally did, and it was simple. After that, it was real easy.
Do you remember your instructors? Do you remember any of your instructors?
I remember one. His name was, what was his name? No, I can't remember his name. But he flew out of Allentown Bethlehem Airport in Pennsylvania. Nice people, but I don't remember their names. You know, we're talking several years ago.
What was your main job while you were in your unit?
In that unit,
Mm-hmm.
learn how to fly.
Just know how to fly and be
You know,
on
what
them?
they did was they gave you the ability to get 35 hours in this Piper Cub. And that's 35 hours in the air.
Tell me some of your most memorable experiences. Like,
I
what do you
think-
remember about Guam?
What do I remember about Guam? It was hot,
It was hot.
dusty, and we had a Quonset hut, and we had a room, and the three kids had a room. And I remember one night we went to bed, we're lying in bed, we look up, here's the three kids looking over at us. It was fun. It was fun. I love Guam because of one reason. I spent a lot of time flying to Tokyo, flying to Manila, flying to Okinawa, and back again, one trip. So I would fly 3 or 4 trips to Okinawa and Manila and to Tokyo, and these were 8 hours each way. and back. And all you kids would try. Well, I'm glad to see you, but what did you bring me?
So, which battles were you in?
Well, I was off Okinawa, and we sat over top of all the little destroyers out there to give them cover, protection from other airplanes attacking them. So I was, and I've made attacks on probably 10 different islands, and dropped bombs, and shot rockets, etc. And did I do anything? I was out one day and I ran into a submarine who was just diving, and I put 2 rockets in it, so I sank it. And then I saw a sugar dog, a small cargo ship, and I put 2 rockets in that, and then went over and strafed some, I don't know what island it was, and strafed a couple of trains, and went home.
So, what do you remember about being shot down?
Well, the main reason I was shot down is because some idiot in the Washington, D.C. Bureau said we did not need gun heaters. And gun heaters keep your guns warm, your oil and the grease of the gun, so they fire. So I didn't know I didn't have any guns until I got in back of a Japanese. I went like that, nothing happened. Then I knew I better get out of there. So I decided that I couldn't jump because they'd shoot you down. So by that time, I had somebody in back of me shooting at me. And I could see tracers going by both sides of the cockpit. And I decided I'd better. Also, I hit the engine, I guess, because it stopped running fairly well anyway. And I saw a small ship, which I was pretty positive was ours. So I decided to make a water landing. I'd never made a water landing before. But I decided what I was going to do. I lined up perfectly and landed about maybe 100 yards from the ship, which was a small destroyer, and came down and landed and hit the water, and it sort of went like a motorboat. Then all of a sudden it stopped, dug in, your nose goes down, and then I started getting out. But the first thing you do is you make sure your seatbelt's tight, like in an automobile. So my seatbelt was tight. I released my seatbelt. By that time, I had a rubber raft I was sitting on, and I slipped when I was reaching back in to get the raft, and then I had to do it again. And I figured, well, I've followed you for quite some time. The man on the ship said, "You got 45 seconds." In 45 seconds, I got the raft out, throw it away from where I was, inflated it, and climbed in. And they eventually picked me up, and everything was successful. Somebody wanted to give me a Purple Heart because I cut myself with my knife. And I said, that's stupid.
Can you tell me about the medals that you did get?
Well, I got a DFC, Distinguished Flying Cross, because I was on patrol one day and saw a submarine just surfacing. And I put two rockets into him, and apparently sank him. And then there was another small ship near him, and I put 2 rockets in that. And then I went out and I found over on an island there some trains, and I shaped it. And up with the train, so I had a good day.
Yeah.
So when I finally went back, somebody had written me up, and I ended up with the DFC. So, let's see, that's about it.
And your others?
Well, I dropped bombs on about 10 different places over in various and sundry islands in the Okinawan chain. And it was, you're out there doing something, and all you're doing but killing somebody or trying to. But it was my job. And I flew the best airplane we had, the F-4U Corsair, which was the fastest airplane in the country at the time. And I carried plenty of armor around me, and I had 4 20mm cannon, 2 in each wing.
So, how did you stay in touch with Mama and everybody else in your family?
I married her.
But I mean, during the war, just letters?
We didn't have email.
I know, but...
I wrote her every day. I met her before I left, and I told her I was going to marry her, and she said, no way. But I did. We're still together. And
So
she doesn't.
Go on.
She doesn't. She never lets me say her age, or how long, or how long we've been married, or the age of my children. So when somebody asked me, I said, I don't know. Phil has never told me.
So what was the food like that you were served?
On a ship?
Yeah.
So. Powdered eggs, fruit cocktail for dessert, fruit cocktail for partying, and considering all in all, they do a job. But the nice thing about it, one nice thing about being on a carrier, instead of in the trenches, you have a bed. And somebody to make it, somebody to also take care of washing your clothes for you. And I think one massage, whatever which we had, gave us massages. They took good care of you. We were the main reason for being.
Do you recall any particular humorous or unusual event that happened?
Getting shot down.
Found that funny?
That funny?
Yeah.
Not really.
Well, I asked you. I mean, what funny things do you remember?
I'm trying to remember.
Did you pull any pranks on anybody or anything mysterious?
We were always doing something like that. But I can't remember anything particularly right now. So what did you do all day long? You want to know that? Well, when you're waiting to take off in a carrier, they have a ready room. So we would sit in the ready room, play AC-doocy, this is former backgammon, or cribbage. And that's all and I didn't drink coffee, so I drank water. But, it's an interesting job. That's about what it is. And then all of a sudden they say, pilots, man your planes, and everybody runs out like mad. And you By that time, they'd assigned an airplane. You don't have the same plane every day. You just take the way they're lined up on the deck. You go, if you're assigned 61, he's the first one, you take him. So,
Did you just fly the same model every time?
oh yeah, well, yes.
So that you knew how to fly it, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay.
We don't switch back and forth.
That would be bad.
Yeah.
Did you make any close friendships while you were in the service?
Yes, we still have reunions of the squadron. And I had several, I got written up in a book by Joe, who was my leader, Joe Robbins. You read that? Right?
Yes.
And then Willie Cowan is in Arkansas. And then Dick DeMott is another friend, and he just died up in Pennsylvania. And there's one year and I don't see him. And then there's Bill Count, Bill Moffett is in Florida. 3 or 4 old friends are in Florida. But do I see him? No.
So you're not in touch with them anymore?
Well,
or
Christmas time.
sometimes? Yeah. Is there anything else you want to add that we didn't cover?
Can't think of anything.
All right. Thank you.